body. I'm still tweaking the audio here, so I don't know if it's working just as of yet, but I'm gonna work on that. However, okay. Alright, so I don't know if the audio is working as of yet. I'm hoping that it is, and that it's semi-working right now. I don't know. We'll find out. Probably best to get out of Cantina because that's always music. And I did lower some of the audio in the game. I don't know if that's part of the issue. I've been tweaking with things, so we'll see if this actually works or if my voice is still low, if what's going on. Let's test it out with this holo call. See what's going on
here. Padawan, I'm Satil Shan, leader of the Jedi Council. I'd like to speak privately with you before we meet with the others.
Go ahead, right?
You have my full attention, Master. What do you need?
This isn't a discussion for a comm channel. Come to my meditation room in the temple. We'll talk there.
That I don't understand. We'll get to that. I mean, we won't get to that. If you played through this before, I mean, the conversation isn't anything major. It's simply it's not a conversation for the comm channel. Yeah, it could be. It could be. Alright. Alright, before I go in, I want to see about here. See about the audio. That's not what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for. You know what? We're just gonna cut out the music, right? That should help. I like the soundtrack, but whatever. We'll cut out the music. Let's bring bring the voice down a bit. 85. Overall volume 75. We'll bring it down a bit. How about 60? How about 65? Ambient noise. I don't know if that'll be an issue. I'll bring it down. We'll bring it down. Whatever. Not gonna hurt anything to bring it down. No. Okay. Yeah. FX volume. It's not that. Okay. Let's see if that works. I can't really get the audio, like the mic. I don't know. I on my computer I've already set up everything as like 100%. So really it's just adjusting game volume, I think. But yeah, let's see. Let's just make sure everything is down. We'll go 50. 50. You don't want something? I don't want just my voice. You don't want just my voice. No one wants just my voice. Okay. Let's see if that does it. It's a good one though. This has some stuff we can talk about with Jediism and Jedi philosophy and stuff. So let's see how this works. Testing it out.
Welcome, Padawan. The temple is already buzzing with accounts of your heroism in the training grounds.
Heroism.
Master Orgus told me you battled flesh raiders and a Force user armed with a lightsaber. It must have been a disturbing confrontation. Are you all right?
Sometimes with BioWare, I wonder about their conversation choices. Sometimes you pick things and it doesn't come out as you thought it would. But yeah, I think anytime you face a situation that's potentially, that's just scary. That's just scary that you are gonna feel those emotions. So yeah, shaken but solid. We're Jedi here. By the way, before I continue, also just nitpicking here, but she calls you to her chambers, she's just meditating, or is that for show? That seems like it's for show. I think that's for show. Oh, come to my chambers, let's have a discussion. Instead of being ready, I'm meditating, because I'm the Grand Master of the Order. That's what we do. We meditate all day.
I'm sorry things ended in violence, but I'm glad to be alive.
Taking a life affects the living force, and the one who does the killing. This is why Jedi enter battles calmly, with reason. Emotions like fear and anger lead to the dark side.
Potentially. I mean, this is a Star Wars dichotomy, right? Like fear and anger lead to the dark side. Obviously, you could probably quote Yoda pretty well, and get an understanding of that fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, that whole thing. But it really is a Star Wars dichotomy, and in real life, you're gonna feel these emotions, and sometimes for very good reasons, right? Fear of a dangerous situation. That's not a bad thing. That's not a dark side thing. That's information. That's knowledge. Anger at injustice, anger at seeing things going on in the world and certain events or things like that. That should incite some sort of emotional reaction. The question isn't so much feeling these things, and feeling them doesn't automatically lead you to the dark side, but it's feeding into them, using them, allowing those things to take control of your actions. That's where we run into a problem. So that's always going to be kind of a disconnect between Star Wars and Jediism, is that fear and anger isn't an automatic thing, and we see it in Star Wars. We see Jedi, like in the movies and the Clone Wars and things like that, experience fear and anger, and still be Jedi. You're gonna feel emotions. So I do like the idea of taking a life affects the living force. It's a pretty cool concept. And the one who does the killing, I think that's important for Jedi philosophy in general, but also for Star Wars, and really plays into a lot of character development. If you look at like characters like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, and just kind of the toll that it can take. So I think that's good stuff right there. But yeah, you got to watch out for that false dichotomy of light side, dark side, and this stuff. But yeah, and I do like playing devil's advocate here, because I think that's just I'm strong enough to resist. It's cocky, right? It's overconfidence. You don't want to. You don't know that for sure, right? There's times where your anger is strong, and so you have to be careful of that. Sounds impossible. That's just ignorance. You're just dismissing something. But my enemy seemed calm. I mean, yeah, he wasn't like foaming at the mouth or anything, right?
The man I fought wasn't angry or fearful.
Not on the surface, perhaps. As the Jedi Code teaches us, there is no emotion. There is peace. Remember those words when times are darkest. And take this. The Code is a source of strength, but some backup never hurts. I'll see you soon in the Council chambers.
Yeah. Get back to meditating. But I don't know. It doesn't address it. Well, maybe not on the surface. Maybe he was angry and fearful. Maybe he was feeling that. Remember, there is no emotion. There is peace. What are you trying to say there? Remember those. I'm with remembering the Jedi Code when you're going through a tough situation. I think it's one of the best things you can do, whether it's the 4-line mantra or the 5-line. I think it's one of the best things you can do in a tough situation. Like if something's getting crazy, or if you're just finding yourself super impatient or getting angry or something like that, just reciting the code, even just in your head, and taking a few deep breaths as you do it, can immensely help and can be a great tool. So definitely remember those words when times are darkest, but just in general as well. But still, I don't know, man. That conversation just seems, I'm not with it. The code is a source of strength, sure. Believe in that. That conversation very much reminds me of Jedi community masters, like where you question them and they're like really dismissive, like, well, maybe not to you. Maybe when you get to the years that I've been in the Jedi community, then you'll understand. Until then, do your exercises and get out of here. Like, it's like, well, no, I'm questioning. I have a question here. I have something that I'm worried about. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I am trying to see if I can get some help here. I'm on the phone. Excuse me. Just making sure that everything's working. I'm trying to get a fellow Jedi to check in and make sure that things are working out and that the audio's a little bit better. I don't want my title to be a lie. I might have to go back and change all the titles and such. So I don't know. We'll see. Checking in, making sure that things are still working. Alright, let's go then.
I searched the temple archives. This Force user leading the Flesh Raiders never received Jedi training.
Then the Sith have found us. Shouldn't we get ready for them?
Calm yourself, Padawan. We can't be certain of anything yet.
But we've all sensed a growing darkness. Perhaps it's finally revealed itself.
Presumptuous. There is darkness here. I don't know that. I'm proof of that. It's just classic BioWare. The dark side is obvious.
Someone want to bring me up to speed?
We're just having a nice end-of-the-world chat.
Everyone, this is the Padawan who saved our people in the training grounds. This is Master Kiwix and her extremely vocal Padawan, Kira. The other masters are transmitting from distant worlds.
It's unfortunate our numbers are scattered.
Indeed. The temple's safety is unexpectedly threatened. The Flesh Raiders were disorganized primitives before today.
Yeah. So before, you seek information, and then along with this, not anymore, again, presumptuous. You don't have that kind of information. But their leader is dead, again, presumptuous. He called them his soldiers, but, I mean, if anything, there's always, like, a hierarchy to these things, right? There's always someone gave him the lightsaber, someone taught him, like, the assumption that, and you're a student, right? So no matter how great you are as a student, you bested this supposed leader? I don't know about that. That seems like disproportionate. And obviously, there's an assumption going on here, like the Flesh Raiders are dumb creatures that can't handle blasters. We first, encounter that in the beginning, but that, again, like, that's presumptuous. I don't know, man. These Jedi need to get their act together.
I think you've been misinformed.
We clearly underestimated the natives. The man leading the Flesh Raiders probably wasn't acting alone.
Much of Tython remains unexplored, and we have few resources to spare.
I'll handle it with the help of my new Padawan.
Orgus, You haven't taken a Padawan since Coruscant.
The Force is strong in him, stronger than I've seen in decades.
I can think of no finer master to complete this Padawan's training.
I've done this option before. I can you just because it's funny, but I don't know. Nah, me neither. Training can wait. Training can't wait. Training's always going on. Doesn't matter if you're a master or not. Even especially look in the Jedi community, man. If you're gonna follow the Jedi path, then you are always training. You're just always gonna be training. That's just how it's gonna be. There is never a stop to it, even in the dull routine of things. Like when you get into what some people consider a rut, you're still gonna be there. You are still going to be working with that and working through the Jedi ideals in that, because man, when things start getting quote unquote boring, that's when you start really getting tested in your self-discipline and applying the path. So you are always training. Training never waits.
It will be a privilege.
Don't get too excited. You're in for some hard work. You'll find supplies in my chambers downstairs. Go equip yourself. I'll meet you there.
Master Orgus Din is probably my favorite Jedi in this game. A lot of good quotes. I tend to write them down because of that kind of thing. Don't get too excited. You're in for some hard work. That's Jedi 101. That applies in Star Wars and it applies in Jediism. It's going to be work. You're going to have to read. You're going to have to do homework. And this is all on top of everything you're doing in life anyways. And again, it's continuous. It doesn't stop. Am I even going in the right? Yeah, I am. Cool. It never stops. So this is a bit bare though. Look at this. That's a couch bed. That's basically a futon for a Jedi. I guess it goes towards, minimalist, but Okay. So I think the audio. There's still issues with the audio, is what I'm being told, but it's workable. So I'm gonna keep it for now, and we'll see. If it becomes too annoying, I don't know. Maybe I'll buy new equipment, depending on how many views and how many interactions these videos get. We'll see. Obviously, my channel doesn't normally do this kind of stuff, so it's not like my major priority, but we'll see what happens. But if the audio is working so far, excellent. I don't know if the live chat's working. There was supposed to be like a live chat thing to allow me to see comments. That might just be a Twitch thing that might, on YouTube, it might not be compatible with the program that I'm using to live stream. So I don't know. We'll find out eventually.
Blast those council meetings. I'd die of old age before my colleagues ran out of things to say.
That is true in Star Wars, and that is 100% true in the Jedi community. I refuse to be on councils these days. I think the last group that I was a part of was this, weird. I don't even want to give them any sort of shout out, but the council there was a joke, man. And it was saying things to say things. It was just talking, and I was not with it. I was not with it. This is insulting, right? They are long-winded. You don't know that. You don't like the council. It's a fair question, I guess. But he doesn't say he doesn't like them. It's just he's just getting tired, and I can totally understand that, and I totally get it. I prefer action to speeches. I don't know. Speeches are action. Words are actions, especially in online. So in the online community, your words, the things that you talk about, those are actions, and those are things that people see what you share, what you do online is no different than what you say and do offline. You are still responsible and accountable to your actions, online or offline. So, I kind of view actions and words kind of the same. Obviously, you need actions to go along with your words. You can't just talk a good game, right? There's plenty of people online that can talk a good game but don't actually live it, and that's important. So,
Have you always felt this way about your fellow masters?
Don't misunderstand. They're good people. I just prefer to get things done. This situation has come to you fast. You're braving dangers many Jedi never face. I wouldn't blame you for having questions. This may be the only time to ask them.
I think you're hiding things. Just seems like where I don't even understand where they get that stuff from. My questions can wait. That's always dangerous. Always ask, especially if you're new in the Jedi community. Always ask. Just ask. You're not bothering anybody, and if you're bothering someone, that's on them. Go ask someone else who's more reasonable. Always ask questions. Don't worry about it. Don't think your questions can wait. Nothing's really that important. I mean, unless it's like an emergency situation, obviously. But still, even then, you want to make sure that you're in the right spot, doing the right things. Questions are important, so don't disregard them.
I get the impression you haven't had a Padawan for years. Why did you ask to train me?
As Jedi, you learn to trust your instincts. When I met you in that cave, my instincts told me that I was meant to train you. I don't know why or for what purpose, but the living force brought us together for a reason.
Questions?
You think the Force is alive? That it wants something from us?
Want is too strong a word. Let's just say we'll accomplish more together than by ourselves. There's a group of Twi'lek Pilgrims on Tython. They've been fighting the Flesh Raiders for months. The Republic asked us to deny those Twi'leks aid. They settled here illegally, but frankly, we need them.
Again, questioning. I guess we can go back to the Force real quick here. I do like the idea that want is too strong a word. That assumes intelligence. That assumes self-awareness. And Star Wars, the Force, there's plenty of different Jedi. The one I like the most when it comes to the Force is actually from the Coruscant Night series books. That talks about how each Jedi kind of experiences the Force a little bit differently, and how they interact with it, how they view it, and how they experience it can also lead to exploitations of a Jedi. That if you know how a Jedi experiences the Force, how they see it, then you would be able to kind of understand how to develop a counter to it or something of that nature. But I just like that version a little bit more if we're just talking Star Wars, because it's just more fun. But in this one, it really is talking whether you call the Force in Jediism, right? The Force, we call it ineffable, meaning that it's this thing that defies description. It's beyond words for us to really say. At least that's my view. I don't think human beings are really capable of putting their hands on exactly what it is yet. And we have a lot of different explanations and a lot of different viewpoints and a lot of different things that might just be, the three blind men, describing an elephant from different perspectives, right? Each one touching a different part of the elephant gives a different description of the whole. And I think that's, probably what we do as human beings, but regardless of your definition, there is a flow to life, there is a flow to our actions, and there is a flow to kind of whether, even if we call it coincidence, we still acknowledge that there's kind of these events that flow together and meet together, serendipity, whatever words that we may use to describe it. there is that kind of interconnectedness of life, and the times that we meet people just seem to really line up. And again, that could all just be some, finding connections because we're looking for them. But even still, like, no matter what your view of the Force is, there is always an element of, hey, this seems to be flowing in this direction, and just sort of it encourages mindfulness of life and where we're going and what we're doing and things of that nature. So just wanted to touch on that because that's important to touch on if we're going to be talking about Jediism. We have to talk about the Force at some point. And yeah, I want is too strong a word. I don't believe in, and this is my personal opinion, right? I don't believe that we are controlled by a deity or a being that says, this is your life from the onset, right? Like from day one, here's your life, this is where you're going to be, and that's the end road. And there's no moving. It's linear. You're going to go through these things, and you're gonna get here, and that's that. There's no deviating off course. I think life is very fluid, and I think that we have a large part of the direction we go within it, right? We are able to steer our ship much more than we give ourselves credit for. It's my view. Anyways, so we have a government dilemma here. The government says, these people are doing something illegal, don't help them. The Jedi get aid from the government. They are, in a sense, beholden to support the government because of this. There is a mutual agreement and beneficial interaction and relationship. So do you adhere to it? I mean, the Republic is wrong. But let's ask some questions, right? Let's dig deeper.
How are they violating the law?
When Tython was first rediscovered, the Twi'leks petitioned the Senate to settle here. Their claim was denied, too dangerous, but they came anyway. The Twi'leks have a settlement in the mountains. That's your next stop. Establish a base camp and speak to the matriarch. Find out everything the Twi'leks know about flesh raiders.
Okay, cool. This doesn't matter and if they don't cooperate, matriarch, I'll go now. All those are like whatever. Those are just, conversation prompts to get to the next area. Here, actually, though, like for some countries, especially like for me, I live in the United States of America, we have illegal immigration like debate right now. We've had people seeking asylum from our country coming from other ones, and our government's like, no, denied. And too dangerous is actually a word, that's being thrown around. It's too dangerous to let them in. In this instance, they're saying the planet was too dangerous to allow settlers to go there. More of a, look, we're looking out for you, that planet's too dangerous. But it fails to realize the situation, and this goes for both. It fails to realize the situation that people find themselves in. People don't just up and move and take their kids. Hang on.
I'm ready to get back out there. Do some
Talking
good.
too much.
I'll join you soon. May the Force be with you.
Talking too much. I was going away from the keyboard. Yeah, that's what I get. I'm long-winded. What do you want? I bet there's a feature in there. I haven't looked at it to move away from the keyboard. Anyways, so too dangerous. People don't just pack up their kids and everything just for like whims, and mass people don't do that for no reason. They're obviously leaving a dangerous situation and trying to get to a better one. Whether the grass is greener on the other side is always like up for debate, and it's always kind of a gamble, but people don't just do that. So when you deny someone that and here for Star Wars, let's just use this example. When the Republic says, no, that planet's too dangerous, it's failing to realize that these people are in a dangerous situation, and they're going to leave anyways. Whether you say here or there or wherever, there probably are better planets. So, but, what is the situation? Why this planet? we never get into that. We never really get to see why specifically they wanted to come to this planet. Maybe they wanted to come here because of the Jedi, because they felt that would make them safe. Any planet that the Jedi live on and inhabit that they, that would be the best place to live, and that would be the most secure, and that would be the safest. Who knows? It's never really explored. Like, there's some conversations with it, but it's never really explored fully. And I just think you can't just deny someone straight off of, oh no, this isn't, good for you. You have to consider, look, these people are obviously trying to get away from something. You better come up with a good solution that's not just a straight up denial. Oh, I forgot to do this quest. Alright, hold up.
Peace unto you, friend. I bear word from the masters of the temple. Will you take a moment and hear my message?
I do have a urgent mission.
By all means, my friend. Let us talk.
You do me great honor. Your present mission is all important, but the Masters want to make sure you do not miss what the temple has to offer. When you have time, see Master Mojida. He will guide you in the other skills of the Jedi.
Again, BioWare with their, let's be insulting, be a jerk for no reason, because that's the dark side. Just for clarification, being a jerk for no reason, being a troll online, that doesn't make you dark, edgy, or cool. That doesn't make you any of that. Doesn't make you a Sith. Just makes you a jerk. That's it. It's not, you're not doing anything great or wise or special or unheard of or scary. You're just being a jerk unnecessarily. Likewise, being nice doesn't just make you a Jedi. It's just, being polite, being nice, that's my preference. I think that's the way to go. Sometimes you need tough love. Sometimes you need to be able to, speak clearly and to the point. But that doesn't just automatically make you a Jedi just because you're nice and things of that nature. So Jedi is a philosophy. You gotta live it. A nice person isn't just automatically a Jedi. Jedi isn't automatically just a nice person. There's some room in there. So
using a lightsaber is just as much science as art. We can spar anytime.
Alright, let's get going. Let's get back to the mission at hand. I did consider, when I was making these videos, or when I was considering making these videos, I considered doing everything like walking and like roleplay style. Like walking everywhere and doing everything of that nature. However, that is a little too much. It takes a very long time. I talk enough.
You are cleared for the following travel routes.
It would already make these long videos much longer. And on that note, I have timed out these videos. Well, not timed, like it's a loose time to give about an hour of exploration in these games. I'm not going to go over that. We'll try to go under that at times, depending on where we're at. But yeah, I'm not gonna try to go over an hour. I think that's long enough for a little gameplay session. Plus, I got a lot of stuff to do today, and my work keeps changing the schedule on me, and I'm making these things difficult. So that's why I'm still going to be jumping around doing crazy stuff, not role-playing it out that way. Just so we're clear on that.
More young Jedi in Kalikori, I see. I am Yula Fon, Master of Rituals. I welcome you. You wish to participate in the ceremony, I presume? You understand the dangers?
BioWare, it's just fine. Alright, I'll stop harping on it. Obviously, we're going to be doing it all game. That's the thing. That's an assumption, man. Don't just say yes. Alright? Think these things through. Ask your questions, Jedi. Ask your questions.
I'm sorry. I don't know what you're talking about.
You've not been told, then. I apologize. Many of your brethren, your Padawans, come to Kalikori to perform our Rite of Passage. Those who endure the ceremony are awarded an audience with Kolovish to receive her wisdom and her gifts.
Who's Kolovish? What's the ceremony all about?
Kolovish lives in the mountains above. Once our leader, now she is our guide and protector. To complete the ceremony, you must walk the 1,000 steps to her home. You must carry a burning brand and light the signals along the path. You must protect the flame from beasts and flesh raiders. This will prove your worth. If you wish, I will ignite the brand. It burns only a short while, but if you are deserving, it will be enough.
I'm ready to carry the flame.
Then go, and light each of the signal fires along the mountain path. When you reach the end, you will find Kolovish.
Alright, let's do this. I was going to do like all the exploratory missions, but I chose not to on this one. Again, I think we'll have plenty of time or plenty of missions to explore Jedi thought and ideas enough with just kind of the main ones. This one I like doing, again, you're doing something in regards to these refugees, right? It's good to understand their traditions, what's going on, getting more information. The more you know about them, the more you know what they're going through, the better you will be able to help. We kind of covered this in the Jedi Rules of Engagement series, right? Understanding who is affected and how and why and things of that nature. So... I want the live chat. I'm gonna have to find a way to get the live chat so that I can see it, so I can handle any questions that someone might have, rather than, you know, these large gaps of silence as I'm running along doing this. I don't know. Maybe having topics of discussion. But I'd like to know, like, if you guys have questions of that nature, we can address it, discuss it, we can explore the concepts more, specifically, if we need to. Let's see, Jedi friend, someone else. Okay, so I'm assuming the audio's still working okay, or, you know, passable. Again, I'll continue to try to do what I can to work on it and maybe adjust settings or what have you. But as long as we're working on that, and again, try to get this chat moving or something. Of course, you know, you guys are always free to jump in at the same time. You know, I don't know if you can watch, depending on your setup, I suppose you can watch the live stream, but. Or you can just jump in game, man. Jump in game, join the fun.
You perform the rite of the Pilgrims well, Jedi. I saw the signal fires as you climbed the path. Very few of your kind make it this far. I am Kolovish, first matriarch and reader of the ancient texts. I led our people to this planet, and I welcome you.
You're the reason the Pilgrims came to Tython?
My teachings angered our rulers. They spurned our lifestyle and refused to recognize the authority of the matriarchs. On Tython, we found we could practice our ways in peace. Even the flesh raiders can't destroy our society. Not forever. Now you've completed the ritual, and you are friend to the Pilgrims. You share our burdens, and you share our strength.
Share burdens and strength. I'm doing the audio, chatting again with Jedi Zols. Zols? I hope I pronounced that right. I never pronounce Jedi names right. But he's helping me out with making sure that I'm not horribly messing up the audio here. So thank you, sir, for your time and work. 1 second. Okay, there we go. And then, so they're here for, basically boils down to either government or religious reasonings, and persecution maybe, I don't know. But you are a friend to the Pilgrims, and you share our burdens, and you share our strengths, which is, it's kind, but also, you're a Jedi. You're a Jedi. You have large responsibilities, and the more powerful you grow, at least in game, as a human, as Jediism, the more knowledgeable, the more capable you grow in the Jedi path, the more your sphere of responsibility kind of grows. When you first start out, that sphere of responsibility should be very small. It should be inward and kind of immediate surroundings, very small, because you're still training, you're still working on yourself, you're still learning and growing. But as you grow, that sphere of responsibility goes outwards. Now, if we can have the abilities of Star Wars Jedi, we would have a much, much larger sphere of responsibility than we do, or that we are probably even capable of. So as now, right? So as you grow, your sphere of responsibility grows, and it's important to prioritize. You're gonna have to prioritize. You cannot, in game, in life, you cannot save everyone. You cannot do everything. You are going to have to make sacrifices somewhere. Prioritize what you want to do, what you need to do, what needs to be done, who needs help, how you can help. You have to prioritize all these things in order to best move forward and to do the best you can. So something to work on. Again, I'm pretty sure we have a video on that somewhere on our channel. So go look through our videos or something.
My duty is to the Jedi Order, not the Pilgrims.
And yet we welcome you, despite this. Take these gifts. We have very little, as you must know, but you are Jedi. You share our world, and you face a difficult future.
What makes you think that?
It is the way of Jedi to face darkness. I believe you will face the darkness of our world, and perhaps beyond. Go to your duties now, and as we part, know that my blessings go with you.
I really like that line, and I've used it on our Facebook page before for the memes that we put out, that it is the way of Jedi to face darkness. And I don't know, man, I don't think there's a better, that's a really good quote, and I think it's true enough, both outwardly and definitely inwardly, right? That's what we do, especially if you consider, like myself, in Star Wars there's this dichotomy of black and white, light and dark, peace versus anger, this kind of thing. In real life, in Jediism, I very much view ignorance as darkness. That's what I really view, and that's inward ignorance, self-ignorance, self-knowledge, all that thing that we work towards, but also outwardly. In the world where you see some of the most horrific events, there's always ignorance there. There's always just this really ignorant view, or just where you're like, that doesn't make sense if you took 2 seconds and you just explored it, if you just asked questions, if you just did some study, if you just did some research, all that stuff gets torn down, right? Like all these really wayward views get torn down. So yeah, you know, you look at things like white supremacy, right? That easily goes out the door once you remove ignorance. Like any race supremacy, you tear that down. That's an ignorant viewpoint, and there's a lot of just ways, like things you do that could, you know, take it out. So, yeah, man. So off we go, continuing on to the main quest, because we still have time on my timer, I think. Yeah. Alright, so. Go. No. New respect, or at least now I understand why, when I have been, like when I was in the Big Brother program, helping, like hanging out with Jada and stuff, like he would show me YouTubers or Twitch or gamers basically who live stream, right? And you know, I found them high energy, a little crazy, but I get why. I get why now. Like there's obviously a lot of downtime, quiet time, and you know, the more engaging you are and the more crazy hyper you are, the more interactive I suppose it gets. So sorry guys, I'm a born Jedi. You know, so we'll continue to evolve, right? Each episode or each time I do this, we get a little bit better. We get new ideas. Of course, your feedback helps. So you know, keep it coming. It's always tough, taking those criticisms, but that's how you grow. You gotta look at the faults and do better and work with them and see what you can do, if anything, to improve upon them. So that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. Let's do another quest. Let's see what we got for Jediism.
Come over here, Jedi, and spare a moment for a humble servant of the matriarch. I promise, your other dealings will wait. My name is Vidariat Aeon. I minister to the bodies and spirits of the villagers, and I have a request. I speak of the Flesh Raiders. Of late, we've seen them growing stronger, and I know why.
I'm listening.
You have my complete attention.
The Flesh Raiders have been experimenting, concocting an elixir that makes them ravenous. The ones who drink it go mad. Their lips froth, and they pounce like starving animals. It's black medicine, primitive and evil.
That seems, again, it would go towards the idea that they're just mindless animals. That's more proof that they're not. I don't know why you'd ever make that assumption, but there we go.
How could Flesh Raiders learn to do something like that?
I have no idea. Such wickedness is beyond our comprehension. We lack the numbers to attack the Flesh Raiders directly, and not even the Jedi could wipe the monsters from this world.
Genocide is never
With our warriors' help, the Jedi could reach the Flesh Raider caves and destroy their vats of elixir.
So yeah, as I said, genocide is never an answer. Does that need to be said? I don't know if that needs to be said. Jediism 101. Genocide is never the answer. I don't know. That's okay. But here we do have a simple solution. Do I get paid? That's not Jedi's motivation. possible, I suppose. I mean, yeah, that's fair. Sounds about right. Well, then I'll do it. You know, again, your sphere of responsibility. The stronger you are, the more capable. Let me change that. The more capable you are, right? The more capable you are, the larger your sphere of responsibility. And I mean, we don't know this in game, but obviously all of us who have played it before know we're going to be heading there anyway, so might as well say.
Then count me in.
Thank you for this. Otimus Mayer knows where the vats are hidden. He is our guard captain. Talk to him to learn the Raiders' secrets.
Let's get on with this main quest, right? Let's stop dilly-dallying around.
Greetings, Matriarch. Master Orgus Din has sent me to help you fight the Flesh Raiders.
So the Jedi finally deigned to recognize my people's suffering. How noble. Nothing to do with the attack on your training grounds, I'm sure.
Send me to help you fight the Flesh Raiders. Yeah, absolutely it does. Don't take that tone with me. Get out of here. Don't take that tone. Allowed to take that tone, man. They asked for help. You denied help because the Republic said you're not allowed to help them, which, that's a tough debate anyways. I imagine the Jedi Council had fun with that one, but I think if that discussion was had, you know, offline in the Jediism community, that you take that burden. You help people who need help. It doesn't matter if the government approves or not. I mean, it's not what we do. But again, Jedi and Star Wars, kind of government sanctioned, so you know, there's ties there that, you know, makes it difficult. That's actually one of my favorite games is, you know, Knights of the Old Republic 2, where that's really explored a lot more. But maybe if these go well, maybe we'll try some of that too, right? We'll see how that goes.
We didn't realize how great a threat the Flesh Raiders had become.
And now you seek help from the people you once ignored.
True.
My scouts have tracked the Flesh Raiders for months, watched them grow in strength. I will share what we've discovered, but only if you agree to protect my people. We suffer.
Mother, you need rest. Let me carry this burden for you.
The matriarch appears sick. Does she need a doctor?
Thank you, but we have our own healers.
This is my daughter, Rana Dalven. She and Scout Chief Morint here will speak for me. I must attend to other matters.
Personally, I don't care why you've come. As long as you destroy the Flesh Raiders. Ever since they got their new weapons and gear, they hunt us like animals. The enemy has a camp in the valley nearby. My scouts say the Flesh Raiders store their weapons and other tech in a cave.
Take care of it.
Removing that technology will neutralize the Flesh Raiders.
We need to strike fear into the Flesh Raiders, sabotage their weapons. Fix it so they blow up in their ugly faces.
How would we do that?
Their technology is standard Republic design. We could overload the power circuits and plasma coils. Here, I'll show you. Sabotage would thin the Flesh Raider numbers and eliminate their technological advantage.
If you brought that technology here, we could defend ourselves with those weapons.
So one of the things that a friend of mine used to say, and I've since usurped it back in like 2002, he used to say this, was Jedi help others to help themselves. Jedi help others to help themselves. And we had that in our mission statement for a couple websites we worked on together, and it's something that I've used to this day. And it's meant to say that, you know, it goes along the lines of that old saying, you can give a man a fish, he eats for a day, teach him to fish, he eats for a lifetime. And that's what it means. You know, you give people, when you help people, you want to give them the ability to help themselves. You don't want to just give things away. You don't want to just temporarily, you know, solve things. Sometimes that's necessary, right? Sometimes you need to put the Band-Aid on it. before you can heal, but Jedi ideals are to, in Jediism, the ideal is to help people so they can be self-sufficient. You want them to grow and be able to stand on their own 2 feet without need of you or the Jedi or anything like that. You don't want, basically you don't want a repeat cycle. You don't want to just put a Band-Aid on it so they're coming back every other day, needing help again. You want to have it so they have the tools that they can help themselves in the future and from that point forward. So, with that idea in mind, more resources would help you.
This village is vulnerable to attack. You need better defenses.
This debate is pointless unless you can get inside that cave. You'll need one of the leader's access keys.
Find the Flesh Raider technology and do what you think is best. Good luck, Master Jedi.
You only call me a Master Jedi because I have a white beard. Judging me off my beard. Okay. Let's get going. It's fine. Got plenty to do. Oh, Alright. It's always the fun part about a game, or I should say an MMO, when you do a quest. Or bonus quests, most of all, that's the more specific one. Done and taken care of. I think it's double XP weekend anyway, so good. It's fine. Oh, I forgot to talk to the thing. That's what I did. Rushed off too quickly. Way too quickly. Got too excited to jump on my vehicle. Come running over here. Oh well. Fine. This is something going on anyway. I gotta be on top of that though. also allows all those other people we were fighting, would have been fighting over the elixirs get their elixirs and not have to worry about one more person trying to get them. So, coincidence? I don't know. Maybe it's the Force. Tie that back into a previous conversation. How do you like that? Skills, man. Take it for the villagers.
Once they have all this, the Twi'leks can defend themselves.
Consider yourself rescued. There is a whole debate to be had on sentience and droids in Star Wars, and then that opens up a whole can of worms on other ethical issues in regards to droids in Star Wars. Maybe we'll get there. I think there's a quest that deals with that. So, yeah, maybe we'll have that fun discussion. Yeah, that's a good one.
Don't worry, little guy. I'll get you out of here. What made the Flesh Raiders bring you back here?
Teach our soldiers how to use these weapons. Train them on the Twi'lek invaders.
When will we strike against the Jedi?
Patience, Caliph. The Jedi will fall when our army reaches full strength.
And this is part of that, right? Restraining bolt. That's also, if you watch Solo, which a movie I actually enjoy. I am a fan of it. I think it's a fun movie. It's not the greatest movie ever. It's not my best Star Wars movie, right? But it's very fun. Also kind of deals with droids and restraining bolts, right? I am definitely in the camp of you shouldn't need a restraining bolt. Obviously you can strike a conversation. You can talk with droids, so you should be able to use reason and such to work out your issues. You shouldn't need a restraining bolt.
I never understood the need for restraining bolts anyway.
Ready to roll. Alright. Quick travel back. That way we don't have to worry about all of that nonsense of me just being quiet the entire time. Okay. See, now would be a good time to use the vehicle. Right? I'm driving right by the quest that I needed to do earlier.
She died in my arms. You should have seen what those filth did to her.
I'm sorry, Selu. We all share your loss.
For every one of us the Flesh Raiders butcher, we should kill 10. No, 100!
Will that restore your loved one to life?
Don't lecture me, Jedi. My wife is dead. Our people slaughtered. Where were you then?
So, okay, great point by Master Orgus, but it is something that we do experience in the Jedi community, where when we are going through grief, there are times, like I've had loss, I've lost people important to me in my life, and the last thing you want to hear when that's raw, when that's there, is some sort of piffy fortune cookie, there is no death, there is a like, you don't want to hear those things in those moments. Yes, true, right? Will that bring your loved one back to life? Revenge, vengeance, genocide. Again, these aren't answers. These don't resolve anything. They aren't going to actually, provide any closure. They're short-term they're not even a solution, right? It's just a short-term emotional satisfaction that will ring empty just as soon as that grief comes right back. So true, but again, like, don't lecture me, Jedi is also a really great quote that you could probably use in the Jediism community more than once. Don't lecture me, Jedi. But obviously this person's going through grief, and yeah, probably not the best time to be lecturing them, but yeah. And this is why I picked this one. I'm sorry for your loss, because when someone's going through that, I mean, all you can really do is have a little empathy and a little compassion, and be like, yeah, especially if you've been there, especially if you've experienced that, if you experience loss, then you can speak towards it a bit. But at the same time, if you've experienced it, then there's not much a person can do to alleviate someone else's grief. That's just a process that every individual kind of has to go through on their own. There's no one way to do it. There's no right way to do it. There's just, everybody kind of has to work through their grief and kind of go through the cycles a few times to get to a point where they can move forward, and then, as time continues on, to continue moving forward. That doesn't make grief easier or the loss less. It just means you are much more capable of handling it and much more able to accept kind of the reality you live in now. But it can still hit you at random times, and still be just as strong, just as tough as day one. But you have, as day one, it seems like you'll never be able to move forward. When it's day 5053 and it hits you, you have all that time that you can look at it and say, I can survive. I can, I have thrived to this point. I have continued on. I have, you have that experience. You have that ability to look back and say, no, this is something I can do. Getting sidetracked off of grief and loss and stuff. But yeah, when you're faced with that, especially if you're in the Jedi community or just anyway, don't throw out the pithy sayings. Don't throw out the Jedi stuff, man. Like that, there's a time and place for that, absolutely. And usually you want to do that before loss, so it's there, so a person can gravitate towards those tools when they're ready. But also later on down the line, they'll, once you give them some time to process, then a person will be much more capable of looking at those tools and using those tools to help them move forward. But just throwing them at people, just throwing quotes at people, just throwing, truisms at people, it's not really helpful. It doesn't do anything to help a person move on and grieve properly. So, yeah, I wouldn't go with it. I also wouldn't be like getting you weapons while a person's mad and angry and going through grief thing, and telling a person to shut their mouth is just ignorant.
Nothing I say will ever make you feel whole again, but we truly are doing everything we can.
What about exterminating those animals?
Genocide.
The Flesh Raiders won't stop until we're all dead. Are you going to let that happen?
Maybe I should. Why would that even be an option? You can always leave. I've never picked out. I've always picked never. Just because, that's my. It's an assumption, because I feel like the Jedi would never allow that to happen. I always feel like the Jedi would always do something to say, if it got to that point, that the Jedi would, stop sitting on their hands and get involved. The temple's not that far away, right? It's a quick journey. So yeah, I don't know. I've always gone with never, but I'm gonna try this option because it's a valid response. This right here is a valid response. Who knows where BioWare will take that? Again, sometimes these things don't. You pick a response and it comes out way differently than you thought. But yeah, you can always leave. You don't you don't have to stay in a bad situation, which is a good, just general lesson in Jediism. You know, you don't have to stay in a bad situation. There are options. They're not great options. Maybe you have like 3 options and they're all pretty horrible, but there's still options available to you. And again, the pithy saying of not choosing is choosing, right? That's still an option. That's still something. That's still making a choice. So, but yeah, you can always leave, man.
Perhaps your people would be safer if you left Tython.
This is our home. No Flesh Raider or Jedi will drive us out.
Or Jedi.
You made a good point. Shame he's too stubborn to hear it. People wonder why Jedi are forbidden to marry or have families. They don't see how attachments always lead to suffering. Passionate emotions can destroy a person, and Jedi destroyed by passion become something terrible.
Going back to that. Okay. People wonder why Jedi are forbidden to marry or have families. They don't see how attachments always lead to suffering. Always? Seems like an absolute there, Master Din. Attachments always lead to suffering. Yeah, sure. What are we talking about with attachments, though? Like, that's, in the context here, we're saying, having family is an automatic attachment, but I know plenty of people who are not attached to their family. They are not. They have no attachments to their family. So that's not automatic, right? A loved one, someone you marry, your spouse, or date, or whatever. Like, obviously you have an attachment to that human being, right? Like, obviously, but that's always going to lead to suffering? No. Attachments to outcomes, I think, is where our suffering really is. When we attach ourselves to what we believe should happen next, what we believe is the end goal, when the attachment isn't the relationship itself, it's the assumption that it's happily ever after. That's what we're attached to. We're attached to the idea that we are going to be with this person forever, and it's going to be sunshine and rainbows, and that's how it should be, that's how it's supposed to be, and everything like that. That's where the attachment, that's the attachment that's dangerous. It's not caring for someone, it's not loving someone. That's not the danger part, right? The dangerous part is when we attach to a specific outcome on how that should play out, how a person should act, how a person should react. These are where the attachments become dangerous. Attachments always lead to suffering. I don't know about that, man. Like, yeah, if you're attached to your pet, right? Like, you have a dog, you're going to be attached to that dog, you're going to love that dog. Nothing is permanent, right? Most dogs do not outlive human beings. It's just, that's kind of the lifespan and how things work, right? Rats, things like that. Unless you get like a certain kind of tortoise that lives for hundreds of years, you're probably not gonna outlive your pet, and you're gonna love them. Are you gonna suffer when they pass? Of course, that's still grief, that's still loss, that's still something you don't want to happen. But no one can live life without suffering. It's impossible. I know, like, there's Buddhist ideals of let go of all attachment and you'll never suffer, but I mean, is that how you really want to live your life? By removing everything that could potentially cause pain and suffering? Or can we just experience life and enjoy the moment and embrace what we have now? Not focusing on the future, not focusing on the past, but knowing that right now, right here, we do have our loved ones, we do have our family, we do have, all our pets, whatever. Like, we do have these things that make us smile and make us feel great and empower us. And yeah, that may be impermanent. I mean, it's definitely impermanent one way or the other. All things are basically impermanent. But that doesn't stop this moment. That doesn't stop your enjoyment now. That doesn't have to stop anything, right? You don't have to be attached to whatever the future is going to be. You don't have to be attached to the future. You can just enjoy this moment right now. That's it, right? Like, this is one of those things where you know, it requires Jediism and Star Wars kind of requires the tweaking, because it's not bad. It's not something we just want to dismiss right away. But at the same time, it's a little, you know, it's a little absolutist. It doesn't take into account of how we really should live our lives. Even Jedi in Star Wars didn't fully live their lives that way. So, you know, and I'm away from the keyboard again. So let's get moving.
T7 was captured by the Flesh Raiders. You'll want to see the holo recording he made.
While I deal with the droid, talk to Rana. I think our people are ready to help us, thanks to you.
Alright, no longer away from the keyboard. Thanks to me.
With the weapons and technology you brought from the Flesh Raiders, my people can defend themselves. You risked your life to help us. My people haven't had a champion for some time.
I have done the flirting just because in a lot of these games, what I like to do as a character is kind of, you know, place myself in those shoes. Like, how would I respond in this situation? If I was a Jedi in Star Wars, how would I be? How would I interact with the world around me? And and I can be I can be flirtatious at times. So I've gone that way, but it's again BioWare's jerk comments make me laugh, but I mean it's not it has nothing to do with Jediism. Get out of here with that nonsense. So
Jedi have a duty to protect and defend others.
And we promise to share our knowledge in return for that duty.
Scouts report that the Flesh Raider forces are gathering in strength. They already control the mountains around us, and now they're invading the ruins of Kaleth. My men spotted them at the remains of an ancient shrine, close to your Jedi temple.
Kaleth was a great city of Force users. Its ruins hold powers we still don't understand.
Flesh Raiders are looking for something there.
We can't let them find it. Drive back those Flesh Raiders immediately. I have to take this droid back to the Council. That hooded figure in the holo, I know his voice. The situation is worse than I thought. Do whatever it takes to push the Flesh Raiders out of Kaleth. I'll send you reinforcements as soon as possible.
Be ready for anything. I can't really. I won't need them. It's overconfidence. Jedi rules of behavior. Jedi overcome overconfidence, or conquer overconfidence. So can dismiss that one. Wait, that's it? Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. You got your mission. Go do your mission. I'll be ready for anything. Again, I think that falls towards overconfidence, but whatever.
I'll hold the line until reinforcements arrive, Master.
If you see that hooded figure from the holo, do not engage him. Now get going.
Okay, there was something I want to go back because I just wrote it down right now. I tend to write down quotes from the game when I remember to. That will be explained at some other times on why I do that. But there is a point. Go back to it. Jedi have a duty to protect and defend others, and yeah, I mean that's all in the Jedi thing. Again, though, you have to prioritize. You have to consider the best way to do that. You have to consider what defense and protection really means. You need to consider what you are capable of doing, and then, as always, you want to help people to help themselves. You want people to be able to defend themselves, as we did with this mission, and build that. Let's see, where are we at time-wise? Okay, so I think that's... Let's get off the thing. Promise I know how to play this game. Okay, so I think that's good for today. I think that's where we're gonna kill this. This is definitely gonna take a very long time if we continue with these if we continue with these videos. I think that's a lot of episodes I think we're gonna collect. But I don't know. I probably a lot of repeats. Probably a lot of repeats on things. I think we've already repeated quite a bit on basic stuff. But you know, and maybe we pick up more viewers. Maybe we pick up more subscribers. So who knows? Yeah, we'll see where we're at. We'll see how it grows. We'll see with your feedback. What do you want more of? What do you want less of? What are your thoughts? You know, feel free to share. I cannot see the live chat on YouTube, so I cannot participate or answer questions there. So either I'll need to think of a different way for you guys to interact with me, or I might have to switch this over to Twitch and try it out there, and that way the YouTube channel stays for the kind of theme and videos that we release now, and that would stay there. I don't know. We'll see. Most of you, like I said, we had like something like 30-something votes. 97% were in favor of these types of videos, as long as we could get the audio and stuff to start working. Would you want this switched over to Twitch? Is that something that like works for you? You 97% people out there, you're the majority. You know, let me know if you would rather like let's switch over to Twitch. That allows for better interaction, maybe a better schedule. That's very limited. I have to go off on my work schedule, but if we can keep it to about an hour, then I might be able to swing that on just about any day. So let me know. Let's talk this thing out, right, Jedi? Let's get some information going. Let's make some informed decisions here. Let's see what we can do with this, and then go from there. Continue to grow this channel together. Because again, I can sit on here all day and talk to myself. That's easy. That's the easy part. What really makes a community is the engagement with other people. So I'd like to, engage and explore with you guys, hear your thoughts, hear your opinions, hear your points of view on some of the topics, maybe even get into some debates, right? So if we need to switch over to Twitch or something like that to make that happen, or use like a Discord or something like that, then we'll do that. We'll work it out. So give your thoughts, give your 2 cents. I'm here for it, and I think that's it. All right. May the Force be with you, Jedi.